that you guys got, you contacted your suppliers, you received some quotes, how do you know that you're not actually getting overcharged for shipping? So this is actually one of the spots that a supplier can actually overcharge you, and you might not even know. Maybe you guys agreed in regards to a better price for the product. It's a really good product price. However, when shipping comes in, it now no longer makes sense, or it seems like they're overcharging you, okay? So there's a quick way in regards to figuring out if a supplier is overcharging you, and it really comes down to contacting different suppliers and getting multiple different quotes and comparing them side by side on an Excel sheet or Google sheet to find out exactly what the average cost is and what the normal supplier is charging, okay? So that's step number one, is in your category when you're on Alibaba.com, always message as many suppliers as possible. If your category has thousands, I would message at least 20 to 30 just to find out. First off, not everyone's going to reply to you. The ones who do reply, you're not going to either like what they say, you don't like the price, you don't like the quantity that you have to order, so on and so forth. So from the 30 that you contact, you might actually be left with a handful that you're willing to work with. But regardless, the biggest reason why you want to contact all of them is to get quotes so that you guys can compare price for the product quote and also quotes for shipping, okay? So then once you narrow it down, you get, let's just say, 5 different quotes, and let's just say 4 of them or $1,000 they charge, but then supplier number 5 comes in at $1,800 a month, or $1,800 for this shipment. Now you know that he's overcharging you by $800, and you can actually question him. So if you like that supplier and you want to work with him, but he's charging you a lot more than other suppliers, then this is a great chance to actually ask them why they're charging that much. Say that you've contacted multiple different suppliers and you got different quotes, and they're the most expensive, that you like them, you want to work with them, but you can't work with them if the price is that high when you can get it somewhere else, okay? So that's step number one. Now, step number two, if you're not able to get multiple suppliers, because let's just say your product only has, 5 or 6 different suppliers selling that product, and you only get, 1 or 2 to reply, and they're both high shipping quotes, how do you compare them? You can use a website called, actually any website really, you can use any website out there, any tracking website. All you really need to know is the weight of the shipment, the dimensions, what else would you need? That's pretty much it. Yeah, you need to know the weight and dimensions of the package and the size and all of that, and just input it into a website. Like I included a website for you guys here that you guys can take a look at, but pretty much any tracking website will do that, and you're going to say it's shipping from China to the United States, and it's going to give you a really close estimate in regards to what it's going to cost in regards to getting it done, okay? So the only reason that you guys really need to do this is if you're going to be using DDP. So I went through that quickly with you guys, but I always recommend going through DDP, and the reason being is because the supplier will hold all responsibility. You guys don't have to do anything. You pay them, and they're going to ship the product for you from China to the Amazon warehouse, okay? If you guys decide to do it your own way and use a freight forwarder, then you really don't need to worry about shipping, because the company's not really going to be making money off of you from the shipping, so you don't have to worry about getting screwed, because you're going to be paying for the shipping and finding the companies and sourcing everything with the freight forwarders and all of that, okay? But if you always want to just double check to make sure everything is running properly, just get all the measurements, dimensions, weight, and all of that, input it into a website. It's going to give you a rough estimate, okay? So I always recommend doing that with DDP. But typically, in my experience with DDP, just to give you guys kind of a rule of thumb, obviously this is depending on the size of your product, but if it's a normal size product that's not too big, I would say that on average it's anywhere from $1 to $3 per unit for DDP. Okay, so what that means is, let's just say that you guys are ordering 1,000 units, and you're using, we'll say 1,000, and the average, and you're doing DDP, and average price is $2. You can estimate that your shipping will be around $2 or $2,000, sorry, just for shipping for that product. Okay, so that's the rule of thumb, is anywhere from typically $1 to about $4 per product for DDP, and that's also typically doing air. Okay, so if you want to do it the cheaper way than doing sea, then obviously that's going to be a lot less. But again, the best way to do this, guys, is to is to get quotes from different suppliers, put them all together on an Excel sheet, and you guys will be able to compare one by one and see the numbers and see exactly what's going on. Find out from each supplier if they quoted you for air, for sea, if it's DDP shipping, and also find out how long the shipping is going to take. Because sometimes it's another thing is a supplier will quote you super cheap compared to everyone else, and then you find out that it's actually going to come through air, and it's a 60-day time delivery before it arrives to Amazon. When the next person above you is maybe charging you an extra $500, but it's going to arrive in 2 to 3 weeks. So in my opinion, I would rather pay that extra $500 to get the product to arrive in 2 to 3 weeks rather than wait 2 months to get that product, because that's sales that I'm losing. Okay, so that's another thing that you guys have to take a look at. So this is why the best thing to do is just create an Excel sheet, and to show you guys what how you guys would open it up is just do it like this. I'm going to show you guys a quick example here. Okay, so you would just pretty much just go here, just open this up bigger. So you could put supplier 1, and you could put price quote, air versus sea. You can put product. Okay, so you do it this way. Shipping quote, air versus sea, time, product, cost. Okay, so now you have this, and then you could do this with supplier 2, supplier 3, and then depending on how many you guys have, let's just say you have 10 different suppliers that you're quoting. Now you can start quoting. So let's just say this guy quoted you 1,000 for shipping. This guy charged 1,040. This one is this, and this one is 2,000, and this one is 900. This one is 1,000. So you start getting different quotes. Okay, so let's just say that's the example. So then the next thing you guys can do is you would find out, is it air or is it sea? So let's just say this was air. This is air. This is sea and sea. Okay, let's just say that. Timeline. So you could say this is 3 weeks.
What are you doing?
2 weeks. 5 weeks. This could be 2 weeks. 8 weeks. And let's just say this is, I don't know, let's just say this one is another 3 weeks, okay? So you type this in, and then the product cost, we could say that per unit will be 450, 480, 390, 270, and let's say $1.90, and 380. So it's 370, okay? So just an example, guys, with 6 different suppliers to show you guys what I'm talking about. So you guys can organize this, you guys can make this nice and clean, you guys can just clean it all up, so on and so forth. So now the next thing you guys want to do is, let's just say this was the actual situation in regards to this is what we're getting quoted, okay? So we can see that the average quote here is 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 2,000, 900, and 1,000, okay? So these guys are all air. So we definitely want to be doing air, so I would not take a look at these 2 options. However, as you guys can see, the product cost is a lot cheaper for this one. So this one is a really good option because it's a lot cheaper, but it's really only by $100 compared to this one, okay? So it's really not worth it in regards to it. However, the product cost could be worth it because it's a lot cheaper than these ones, okay? So this is where you would have to really narrow it down and take a look at the big picture to see if it's actually worth it in regards to doing it. And this is why I recommend in one of the videos that you guys can actually split up your inventory, so you guys can send 5. Let's just say that the best option taking a look at would be probably this one right here, right? So this is the best option. It's $1,000. It's through air. It takes 3 weeks, and he's charging $370. So you can try to negotiate with him to try to lower this amount a little bit less. But so far, this supplier looks like it's the best one if you guys took a look at the overall picture, okay? The second best option would be this one, and it's through sea. Now this problem is it's also through sea, but it's only 3 weeks, let's just say, okay? And this one is sea, but it's 8 weeks, okay? So these would both be a good option, but let's just say this one was air, okay? We'll just say for this was air. So it's $1,000, it takes 3 weeks, we get it for $370, that's an awesome deal. So I would probably start with this one first out of all of these, and then option 2 would probably be this one, and I would split my inventory, meaning I would try to talk to this supplier and be like, okay, I want to send let's just say we're ordering 500. Say I want to send 250 through air, and then I want to send another 250 through sea. So you split up your inventory, so now you're saving money, and now hopefully when you sell out of these 250 units that arrive through air, by the time you sell out, your sea shipment should arrive, and then your cash flow will start coming in, and then you can place another order. You can place a bigger order of maybe 1,000 and split up 500 sea, 500 air, and keep doing that until you're in a position where you're able to just keep doing air, or you can keep doing sea. Sometimes that's another thing. If some of my students just always do sea, is because they purchase so much products that they're able to actually stay in stock, meaning that by the time it runs out, their shipment from sea arrives, because they know exactly that, hey, it takes 8 weeks. They need to plan in advance, 2 to 3 months in advance, place the order 2 to 3 months in advance, and plan for it by the time it arrives to Amazon. That's going to sell out in 2 months, which means I have to place an order right away. The second I place my order and it arrives at Amazon, I have to place another order, okay? So those are different things that you guys can do. This is the number one way to figuring out if the supplier is overcharging you, because you can see with the average quote here, now you know that this guy is definitely overcharging, but you can also see that the product cost is a lot cheaper. So that's something else that you have to take into consideration, because you could calculate your product cost, times it by the amount of product cost. So let's just say we are doing 278 and we're ordering 500 of these, okay? So it's going to come out to $1,390 for this product. Okay, now let's just say the next best option was 278, or let's take a look at this one will be 370 times 500. So you can see the difference right here. So the 1850 compared to 13, but then you know that the shipping cost is, this one is, or actually the shipping cost is, you can just put this here, was it this one I used? Or yeah, so this one is for this one. And this one was 370, correct? I think that's what I put. Yeah, 370. Okay, so now you would just add these back, both of these together, and now you can see if it's worth it and which one is cheaper. So you can still see that this one is a lot cheaper. This air option right here is a lot cheaper, even if the product is a lot more than this product, okay? So this is how you can actually play around with it, guys, calculate it, and figure out exactly what is the best cost, and figure it out. So obviously the more suppliers you have, the more data you have, and the more you can figure out in regards to the product cost. So product cost, and negotiate, again, the best way to do it, guys. I know I'm rambling, but for product cost, you're going to go to Alibaba, and then you're going to go to 1688, find the average price that you guys can negotiate, so you guys can get the best price possible for the product. Number two, you're then going to get a bunch of different price quotes from different suppliers, and you're going to get the average per shipping cost. You're going to write that down. You're going to know that, hey, on average, let's just say this was the average. What is the average for shipping here? It's around 1,175. So that's the average for these 6 suppliers. So you know that you're going to pay around that amount, and you know that you want to aim for air, and this is average the time weeks. And then you can also take the information, the weight, the dimensions, all of that, take it to an online tracking website, like a shipping company, insert that, and it's going to give you an average in regards to shipping costs, okay? So that's how you guys do it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out, and I will see you guys in the next video.